Yo, what's up, everybody, and welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about the new episode of The Real Housewives of Orange County, Season 18, Episode 5. This was a great episode, so let's get right into it. Okay, so the episode begins with Heather and her husband, this naughty Dubrow, as I call them. Heather is telling him about the Katie drama, and Heather says, that Katie person accused me of calling the paparazzi. Of course, Heather Dubrow would reference another human being as that Katie person. Ugh, we all know they called the paparazzi with their thirsty behinds. Just admit it. So, but here's the thing, not only is Heather mad at Katie, she's mad at Gina for allowing Katie to say these things. Oh my gosh, that's what she said, allowing. So Gina and Jen come over to Heather's. Gina does apologize to Heather for Katie for quote unquote allowing her to say to Heather about the paparazzi. And Heather says, but you're my friend. You should have told her it wasn't okay to talk to me about that. Gina now, all of a sudden, doesn't even know Katie. Barely met her. She doesn't know her too much. Girl, bye. But Heather continues to ask questions and finds out that Gina did know about this since December. So Heather says, why didn't you tell me since December? And Gina's like, I'm sorry, I effed up. So Heather says, I'm going to keep my distance from Katie, and she's shown her character. I was just like, Heather is being so annoying and dramatic right now. We also see Shannon go over to Katie's house, and I didn't realize this, but Katie and Shannon have been getting to know each other, and they've hit it off real good. Katie even says that by the way, she also gave Shannon flowers and a little box of chocolates because it happened to be Valentine's Day. I thought that was really nice. So then Katie says that she thought Shannon and Tamra were pretty cordial at the golf event. And Shannon says, well, that's because Katie and Heather's fight kind of overshadowed everything, but that in no way means that her and Tamra are okay. Shannon has actually been hearing more about the things that Tamra has been saying behind her back to the rest of the group. As far as Heather, Shannon says she does respect Katie for holding her own towards Heather. Katie shows the text message that she sent to the guy in paparazzi asking if Heather called them, and the guy said yes. Now, some people on social media have been saying, oh, that's not really a receipt. I see what they mean, but it kind of is, but I don't know. Tamra then meets up with Emily, and these two have definitely gotten closer since last season. They talk about Valentine's Day plans, and once again, Mean Girl Emily throws shade at Jen for going to Vegas. Now, surprisingly, Tamra kind of defends Jen, and she says, well, I'm sure Ryan paid for everything. She can't just sit home and look at the empty account and do nothing. Well, thank you for that, Tamra, because it seems like Emily wants Jen to sit in her room and cry and stop living her life. It's crazy. Emily says that as far as Heather and Gina and Katie, the whole thing, Gina has this weird loyalty towards Heather that if it came down to it, Gina would choose Heather over every single person in this group. So it is what it is. We then see later that day a scene of Emily and Shane going on a date. They're talking about their day. She goes to the gym every day, but he doesn't. And one thing that Emily wants to change is that she wants him to be healthier. They actually went to a pizza place and he's ordering his Coke, ordering his meat lover's pizza and French fries. He's not obese or anything, but she doesn't want him to have health problems. So I understand Emily's concern. Emily then reads some fun questions that she found online for married couples. Shane also gave her a gift, her engagement ring. I guess he fixed it up or kind of added stuff to it. And then she brought him a gift as well. They brought it to the restaurant. It was a huge square wrapped in wrapping paper with a bow and everything. And he opens it up and it's Emily's risque photo shoot. Her pictures in the middle of the restaurant. So moving forward, Gina and Katie meet up at a coffee shop. Gina says that her and Travis did have a little Valentine's thing the other day. She says that they're just at a confusing part in the relationship, but they do want to be together. I don't understand that whole situation, and I'm not even trying to be honest. Katie then says, in a very serious and sincere tone, that after the golf event, she says, I'm going to be honest, but I feel a little abandoned by you. You totally took Heather's side, and I did feel like you could have kind of stayed neutral. Gina then says, I'm not going to stay neutral. This happened because of your own doing. She even goes as far as to say that, to be honest, I should have been more on Heather's side because I'm not going to ruin my friendship with her because of your actions. But then, y'all, poor Katie was really upset by this. She says, listen, I was screamed at by Heather Dubrow at my own event, but honestly, what upset me was the most was you not defending me because I've grown to really like you. And then she starts to cry a little bit. Gina does apologize, but I felt so bad for Katie. Gina, like, it sucks that she did that, and I don't understand this little tea with Miss Fancy Pants. Also, Gina, what is this? But anyway, so the next scene is Shannon and her dad going to a restaurant. It was nice seeing them talk. Shannon tells him that she needs to get a car with a breathalyzer machine thing on to the car that's like attached because of the DUI. But she says that it will remind her every day of what she did. He asks if she cut down on the drinking, and she says, yeah, a little bit. He says, well, you know what, you hit rock bottom, but you're going to go up. Then she tells him that John Jensen is suing her for $75,000. And he says, what? She says, well, I thought he was giving me the money, but I now got a letter and they gave me a couple days for me to set up a payment plan. He says, you have to fight it. And I can't imagine him as a father seeing his daughter, and even if she's an adult, it must still suck that he's seeing his little girl hurting over a garbage man. In the next scene, Tamra goes over to Alexis' house. Tamra says, in what world would I have ever thought that I would be coming to your house? I have an answer to that, Tamra. You would be doing that in a world where you were being a fake, backstabbing, so-called friend trying to hurt Shannon Beador. That's what world you would do that in. They talk about some dinner that Gina has invited them to, and Alexis says, well, why wasn't I invited to Katie in her golf event? Tamra says, well, she's been getting really close to Shannon. And then Tamra begins to talk about she is somehow now a victim of Shannon's alcoholism. She says it's always the closest to the ones with the addiction that get hurt. I'm like, really, Tamra? Talk about making everything about yourself. That's crazy. Tamra brings up that when she talks about John, or Johnny as she calls him, it sounds so different than the man Shannon would describe. Tamra also subtly brings up John giving money to Shannon for a facelift, and Alexis says that she's going to bring receipts to prove that. Then they all get ready for this dinner. By the way, I didn't even know this, but when Shannon and Vicki were in the car, because Vicki came as well, you guys already know these white ladies love going to Mexico, but Shannon says that she can't go because of her DUI. That's crazy. I didn't know that affected that. So they all make it in. Heather's making such a big deal about not sitting next to Katie. She's acting like if Katie did something really bad. Like, give me a break. All of them are there, including Alexis, and as they're talking, Alexis just straight up asks Katie, why didn't you invite me to the golfing event? And Katie says, oh, well, I've been getting to know Shannon. I didn't want to make her feel bad. Shannon then walks on in with the OG from the OC. I love Vicki. I'll take as much Vicki as I can. When Vicki walks in, she says, hi, Alexis. And Alexis looks at her and says, oh, look who's in my world now. Vicki says, your world, bitch. So they're ordering drinks, and then Vicki turns to Shannon and says, you can order a drink. You're not driving today. Then Tamra says out loud, oh yeah, an alcoholic ordering a drink. And then there's a complete silence, very awkward silence. Shannon then turns to her and says, you've been on this journey with me 10 years. Tamra says, yeah, everybody has, and we all know you have a drinking problem. Shannon says, every day that I get up, there's not a day that goes by where I don't think about what I did. Tamra then says, is that after you've had a drink? Shannon says, who made you the judge or the jury of what I do? Emily jumps in and defends Shannon, as does Gina. I like that they did that. They say that Shannon has changed and that they don't like the way Tamra is kind of berating her. Shannon says, let's look at your drinking history, Tamra, because you've been passed out, fail on your face drunk before as well. And Tamra says, well, I was having fun. They ask Vicki what she thinks about all this, and Vicki says it's disgusting for all of them to be fighting. They say, well, Vicki, you posted that Tamra was a perfect cast member to be on the Traitors, so you clearly like to fight as well. Tamra says, well, guess what? I'm not a traitor. I'm a faithful that had to vote Shannon and Vicki out. The gag is, Tamra barely lasted on the traders, but she continues to say, I didn't feel comfortable doing the show because Shannon needed to go to rehab. Vicki says, yeah, and she did. Tamra says, no, she didn't. She went to a therapist because she dates bad guys. Alexis chuckles and Shannon gets up and says, this has got to stop. I didn't drink when I was in my program at all. Then Tamara says, lie, 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 lie. You don't like that I'm uncovering your BS like you owning $70,000 to John Jensen. And Alexis chimes in, actually $75,000. Shannon says, oh, Alexis, we all know you've been trained to say this. Alexis says, well, I have receipts. And Shannon just walks out. But Alexis continues to show the whole table pictures of checks and wire transfers. I don't know. She says, if Shannon wants to go toe to toe, I will. Vicki defends Shannon and the way that John's treated her. But of course, Alexis says, you're wrong. Shannon is lying to you about him. Jen then goes to see Shannon outside. And by the way, I like that the area where the girls were at is like behind a secret bookshelf. It was so cool. But Jen goes to see Shannon, and Shannon was sad that no one else had gone to check up on her yet. She is going through a lot. She can pretend that it doesn't bother her, but being next to her ex-boyfriend's new girlfriend who's behaving like this is horrible. She also says that there is so much about John Jensen that we don't even know. She even calls him a monster. Back over there on the table, Tamara also talks to Vicki and says, the reason I pulled out from the show wasn't you, it was her. Vicki says, that girl needs a hug right now, not you coming after her. Alexis is still in there calling Shannon all these names, but at the same time says that she would maybe want to be friends with her. And Emily says, wait a minute, you can't do both at the same time, calling her out with receipts and then say you also want to be friends with her. So Alexis gets up and screams at Emily and then walks out as well. Vicki, then in typical Vicki Gunvalson fashion, says, as women of the Lord, we should not do this. We should be living for the Lord and for our sisters. I love Vicki. Tamara says, well, she needs to go to rehab. And Vicki says, you are not the one who should be making that call. Tamara says, you're enabling her. And Vicki says, no, I'm not. Ooh, and that was the end of the episode. Wow. That was the end of the episode, you guys. It was a lot. This dinner. Again, Shannon's going through so much. And the thing about Tamra is, it's so annoying the way she comes after Shannon because you can tell that she's trying to get a TV moment, but at this point, because it's Tamra and because it's the way she does it, it's not entertaining. There's not a single person that is entertained by Tamra going after Shannon in such a nasty, despicable way. Like, it's not cool at all. It's not entertaining. It's just plain out mean and disrespectful and just over the top. But anyway, you guys, let me know what your thoughts were about this episode. What did you think about the dinner? Alexis, Shannon, Tamara, Vicki. Let me know. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you all next time. You have a great one. Bye.